African American English has always been historically marginalized since its inception in the United States of America. From the antebellum period to the Civil Rights Act of 1964, many white policymakers and social reformers viewed colored people as inferior, including President Abraham Lincoln. Although the Southern states are still seen to this day in the historical consciousness as a bastion of racism and segregation, the Northern states also had these practices as a norm, despite slavery being outlawed there. And even when the slaves on the southern plantations were freed, their former owners fought tooth and nail to retain rightfully what they felt was rightfully earned from their ancestors against the federal government. It didn't also help that the waves of German and Irish Catholic immigrants in the 1840s and 1850s saw free blacks as competition economically, so many wanted to preserve the social division. Southern and in these changing times, Southern and Northern legislature enacted laws to preserve a de facto and de jure inferiority in material terms for blacks: poor housing, poor schools, poor land, and constantly living in the shadow of society, which still persists to this day in some form. Now, back then, if blacks received any education, which was often banned, it was in the form of private tutelage from their white masters and hired tutors. Now, black public places, first of all, schools, were always underfunded, if they were funded at all, left to rot and decay, and always given the most inferior of educational resources, if they were given any. Terror tactics and public shaming were also employed to counteract whatever benefits they gained, and efforts to push back in the courts were subverted by Southern legislators and lawyers. Of course, this practice extends to the public view of the language, and it also doesn't quite help the fact that they're viewed lowly because of this status. But despite their low regard in society, even with the civil rights legislatures enacted recently, the great Paul Robeson once said, "I'm an American who is infinitely prouder to be of African descent. No question about it." What this statement references is their own contributions to the American culture as a whole remains as a defining moment and character of them.